Cool.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Today is the beginning of a 7-day week, a special week on Chef AJ Live. We're calling it Longevity Week because all of our guests will live longer and better, look better, in my opinion. They've been vegan for a really long time, and they're going to share with us their secrets to successful aging, maybe some beauty tips. Please welcome today's guest. She's so many things. You can't really put her in a. She's a talented chef. She's a restaurant owner. She's an influencer. She's a great grandmother. She's more than that. Please welcome Chef Babette. I just adore you, Babette. I remember meeting you the first time at your restaurant. I mean, just even if you weren't so physically beautiful, your spirit is just one of joy and love and laughter. And thank you so much for being on the show during this special week.
Sweetheart, thank you so much for having me. You know, I love you too. And I've missed seeing you. I mean, we've both been so busy, but thank you so much for today. This should be fun.
Well, absolutely. So, it's hard to believe you're a grandmother, let alone a great grandmother. I must have missed when that happened.
My granddaughter had a baby almost 2 years ago. So we have a brand new member in the family, Kailani, and she's just amazing. Yes, she is my great granddaughter. But come on, AJ, you know I'm old enough to be a great grandma.
Well, I know, but they always say you never should ask a woman her weight or her age.
I love telling my age, honey.
Well, I'm going to tell it. You're almost 72.
December 7th, I will be 72. I am so proud to shout that. I swear to God, because I feel so unbelievably amazing. So amazing. I'm so happy.
So, a lot of people say, okay, well, it's genetic. Probably everybody in your family looks that good and age this well. Is that true?
No, baby, look, I'm the only one left. My mama's gone, but my mom did stretch it out to age 93. However, she, let me just explain something to you, AJ. What's really important to me more than anything is having a good quality of life. Longevity has its place. That's great. But I don't prefer to be here for 100 years flat on my back and everybody's got to take care of me. I prefer to be here as long as I need to be here and still be able to do for myself. If I get in the bathtub, AJ, I want to be able to get out of the bathtub at age 90. I don't want to have to call the fire department to get me out of the bathtub. So I just decided, after looking at my family, my mother passed, my sister passed, my brother passed. I had a small family to begin with that I knew of. All of them are gone. I still have younger family members that have picked up diabetes, different illnesses because of their lifestyle. I was introduced to veganism at age 40. My current husband, Rondell Davis, introduced me, but how he introduced me was through books. Read this. Understand why you shouldn't combine your food this way. Understand why veganism is probably an excellent way for you to go forward in terms of nourishing yourselves. When I got the book by Professor Arnold's Eric, The Mucusless Diet Healing System, man, I gained so much knowledge. And going forward, I just started practicing the information that I learned in the books that were shared. Fit for Life, Volumes 1 and 2, and The Mucusless Diet Healing System. Those were my 3 books that really got me going. And I give so much thanks for that knowledge.
That's inspiring to know that you didn't even become vegan until age 40. So it's really never too late.
Baby, the human body will respond to the love you give it or not. And that is what we're dealing with right now. There's so much illness on the planet. And AJ, people eat out of boxes. They eat out of bags. They avoid the areas in the supermarket with all the life. Come on, AJ. Processed food.
Well, I wrote a book called Unprocessed. I've been saying for years, even if somebody chooses to eat animal products, which I don't think is a good idea, nobody should be eating processed food. Nobody.
Processed food, AJ, and the chemicals that they use to process the food is jacking us up. But why do we have so much diabetes? AJ, have you if you ask yourself, if I look at a cow, AJ, no, let's just start with a pigeon. I do not salivate. Give me a mango on a hot day and I can salivate. I do not have the gear in my mouth to tear a pigeon apart and just eat it on the spot. That's not what I am. I am a part of a species that doesn't eat like that. So thank God I figured out, I learned how I am supposed to eat and what I'm supposed to ingest. I had eczema, asthma. Every time I ate, I was bloated, acid reflux, just miserable. I hated eating. I hated it because I didn't know I used to eat chitlins. I ate hog maws. I ate all the fat there was to eat. Ice cream, butter, milk, everything. And I was so sick. And as soon as I got rid of all that stuff, it went away, AJ. It went away. So I didn't have to, even though I studied, I used myself as just a test. Let's see what will happen. And here I am, 30 some odd years later, feeling amazing, better than I did then at almost 72 years old. I have a challenge. I'm doing 75 push-ups for my birthday. When my birthday shows up, I'm gonna make sure I can do one push-up for every year I've been alive. Well, I've already done the 75 push-ups. Maybe I'll do 100 for my birthday. You understand what I'm saying? That is quality, AJ.
I remember when you were like 10 years younger on stage at one of the conferences I produced, and you did
And
like
you
60,
challenged me.
and you did your age in push-ups. I can't even do one. That's incredible. Babette, did you ever hear of a vegan or plant-based diet before your husband introduced you to it? And
never heard of veganism. Let me tell you, there was a woman that was in my workplace trying to sell me herbs. And I was like, I don't want herbs, lady. Would you just please leave me alone? I was stuck on the standard American diet. I didn't have any knowledge of anything clean, nothing. I was just eating everything that wasn't nailed down, period. And feeling badly to boot. So, yeah.
that's amazing. How quickly did you adopt this diet, and what changes did you notice, and how quickly?
Well, as soon as I read Fit for Life, and I started combining my food differently, I began to feel differently automatically. Whenever, because I was drinking drinks, sugary drinks. Listen, when my mother made Kool-Aid, and Black folks drank Kool-Aid, let me just tell you that. When my mother made Kool-Aid, my mother's Kool-Aid was so sweet that when you poured it, it looked like syrup. My mother used so much refined sugar that her spaghetti sauce, you could drink it with a glass of milk because it tasted more like a dessert. She put refined sugar in everything. And I was massively addicted to refined sugar. So once I started combining the food properly, now Fit for Life doesn't tell you to become vegan. However, they say if you're going to eat meat, you should not eat it with a carbohydrate. Don't eat meat and potatoes. Don't eat meat and bread. So therefore, a sandwich is kind of nuts. They say eat meat with vegetables. If you're going to eat a carbohydrate, eat it with vegetables. Don't eat it with fruit. Eat melons by themselves. I started learning all this stuff. And once I started putting it into practice, I began to feel amazing after I ate. I wasn't having that experience before. So practicing everything that I was learning really, it gave me a new life, AJ. And that's the honest truth.
When did you become a chef and a restaurant owner during this?
Well, Ron and I decided after, let's see, in 90 we met, 92 we got married, and I became vegan. I changed my lifestyle in 1990. And so, we used to go over to Agape Spiritual Center. And, I used to be over at Reverend O.C.'s church. That's when I first started doing a little catering on Sundays. And once we got our souped up hot dog cart built and we went over to Agape Spiritual Center, we realized the product that we had, people really liked it. Oh, we had fun food, AJ. Tacos, burritos, enchiladas. And people were like, this is really tasty. And so what we did was we avoided all the garbage, but we made sure that it was something that was going to appeal to the palate. And most people really enjoyed what we did. So after about 6 years of working on a parking lot on Sundays, we were in Inglewood, passed by a restaurant that the door was open. It wasn't even a restaurant. The door was open. We met the owner. We were on our way to Jamaica. We give him our card. By the time we get back from Jamaica, he calls us, come see me. I'll let you have this building for first, last month rent, and a little security deposit. And we had that building for 4 years, AJ. We didn't have a dime before we could actually open the doors. And we wound up opening the doors in 2008.
That's amazing.
We got it in 2004 and we opened the doors in 2008. But from Ward, I forgot now when we got on the parking lot at Agape Spiritual Center, but we were there for about 6 years on the parking lot. So it's been a journey.
Did you have any formal chef training or how?
None, girl. I still don't even hold a knife right. AJ, look, I can use one knife. My husband is like, you're not really like most chefs. Most chefs have certain knives that they use. I'm like, first of all, I'm not cutting up meat. I just, I have one knife that works for me. I know I don't need a whole package of knives. Just give me one knife that's sharp and I'm good to go. No, I became Chef Babette when I got into the restaurant, and I was known as the chef. And that's how I got that title. But I wear it.
You do it great. You know, really for comfort food, really.
Yeah, I am. And, but I got more into the live food because of how I feel after I ingest food. I was miserable years ago. I was so miserable. So I'm very careful now, the way that I eat. And if I ever wind up with any gas or any kind of bloating, which is very rare, that means that I've done something not correct. So I'm very, very careful with myself.
Wow. Who introduced you to living foods?
Wow. You ate a lot of life, didn't you?
Well, I did for a couple of years. I was raw. I wasn't able to sustain it. But I'm trying to think. I think it was Rashid that first it inspired me.
Because I'm trying to remember who was the person that really got me going with the live food, and I can't remember right now. But you know what I did? I started checking out Elisa Cohen. She had this huge recipe book, and I just started playing around with some of her recipes and making them my own, and just really felt amazing after I ate and started learning how to dehydrate. So I got my dehydrator right here in my dining room. I'm still dehydrating. And that's pretty much how I got into the live food. But it really does serve you well. And you remember I wrote my book, my dessert book, 50 plus desserts using the cashew nut. Yeah, that book. And that's most of the desserts in that book are live. So I don't know. It just worked out for me.
Who came up with the name of the restaurant? Stuff I Eat. Oh.
I'm gonna tell you how that happened. I was in a play with I don't know if you remember. It doesn't matter. I was in a play at Agape Spiritual Center with a friend, and I was catering. I would take food for the cast members. And I told them, I said, I'm getting ready to open a catering company, start a catering company. I said, and I'm trying to come up with a name. I said, but you know what? It's really just the stuff that I eat. And one of the cast members said, well, that's the name of the restaurant. I mean, that's the name of your business, Stuff I Eat. And it latched on. And yeah, that's how we got it.
That is amazing. So, Babette, tell our audience, what's the secret of aging gracefully, timeless beauty? I mean, like, do you have any tips and tricks of just eating a lot of raw food, a lot of live food? I mean, so many people struggle with not only health problems, but just even the challenges of going through menopause. I mean, it seems so much more difficult for people as they age.
I went through menopause. I remember that time. I was flying at the time. I was actually a flight attendant at the time, but I had already transitioned and was vegan. And I can remember the thing that every takeoff and landing, I'd experience a hot flash. If I ever ingested any kind of sweetener, I don't care if it was honey, I don't care what it was, and I don't eat honey anymore because when I found out it was regurgitated nectar, I stopped eating the honey. But maple syrup was my sugar at the time. I would experience a hot flash. If I ever tried to have a glass of wine or anything alcoholic, I would experience a hot flash. So for me, what my mind told me is that as you're going through this change, if you will, the body burns off poison. That's the way I used to look at it. So I would just make sure that everything I ingested was clean. I couldn't do anything about the takeoff and landings because I was a flight attendant, but I never experienced hot flashes in the middle of the night when I was sleeping. It was only those particular times that I would experience the hot flashes. But I'm just going to tell all of you guys, proper nourishment, especially when you start getting older. I eat primarily for nutrients, okay? That is more important to me than anything, nutrition. And I move. Do not stop moving, please. The human body was created to move. And your food is your fuel. So you have to have the nourishment. Those are the two things that I would say. Oh, and a good attitude, stay in the moment. Because if people are living yesterday and they're living tomorrow, you're jacking yourselves up. You're stressing yourselves out. Stay present, stay current. That's the only time that is truly guaranteed to you. Stop tripping over something that happened 2 years ago and stop worrying about whether or not you're going to have the rent on the first. Just stay in the present and enjoy the moments that the universe is giving you right now. That's the time that's guaranteed. So movement, nourishing this beautiful gift of life, and staying current, staying present. Those are important messages.
Absolutely. Well, if only you could teach us how to do that. So Mona, who's watching live, says, what is Chef Babette's skincare and exercise routine?
Oh, girl, the skincare. I'm so glad you asked that. When I got on to coconut oil, AJ, I really need to have my own line of coconut oil. I still put coconut oil everywhere. I even put coconut oil under my makeup. I'm just a coconut oil. Now, that does not mean that I don't use some of the other, lotions, but I am in love with coconut oil. So that is my number one go-to. And what was the other question? Skin?
Your exercise routine, other than doing your age and push-ups.
Check this out. When I realized, because I've had my lazy days, I'm human. I'm not trying to come off like I am perfect. I've had my lazy days, but what I do understand is that nobody is going to get up and do that workout for me. Not one person on this planet.
Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great though if we could get somebody? I always said, Babette, I wish I could get somebody to pay somebody to pee for me at night.
You know what I'm saying? You are so good. But it's true, AJ. Isn't it true? Nobody's going to do it for you but you. You got it. It's you. It's all you. And once I understood that, and then especially when you become an influencer and you can share, that is why I rarely share recipes on my IG page. Most of the time I'm showing you how I'm working out, how I'm moving, and that sort of thing, because I just am trying to inspire us. If I'm 72, and I can make myself do 70 some odd push-ups, and you're only 20, get up and move. And don't stop moving, AJ. It's so important. We sit at, well, we used to, people don't even go to work anymore, but we used to sit at work, and then we would sit driving home, and then we'd get home, eat a big old giant meal, and sit in front of the TV, and we're never moving. We're never moving. It's not good. It really is not good, because one day you won't be able to move.
You know, I find that it's easier to get people to eat pretty well than it is to get them to move if they're not used to it.
Oh, but you can't, you have to, once you start, I started with one push-up, AJ. I hear people, oh, I can't even do a push. I started with one push-up. And every day I did a push-up, I would try to add a push-up. And then if I couldn't add it, I just go back to what I did the day before. But it's the same way with a plank. If I'm doing a plank, I'm going to stay in that plank until I get up to 8 or 10 minutes in a plank position. But only I can do that. And the human body will do it. All you have to do is challenge it. Seriously.
Now, were you a person that did a lot of exercise or movement before you changed your diet at 40?
When I met Rondo was a runner. And so one of our first dates was going up to Griffith Park. And believe it or not, he would run past the observatory, start at the bottom, and he'd run all the way past the observatory to a point that we call the top. And this man ran the whole thing backwards. And I was barely walking and so tired. And I thought to myself, if this man can run this this was in 1990, if he can run this whole thing backwards, one day I'm going to be able to run this, maybe at a walker's pace, but in a running mode. I'm going to be able to run this one day all the way to the top. And believe it or not, if I go today, if I have been there in a year and I go today, I can still get in that running mode and run that hill. So he's the one that kind of got me moving again. Rondo did that. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like he was a very important influence on the trajectory of your life in all aspects.
He really was. He really and truly was. If I do not include him in this story, I am not telling the true story. I have to include him.
I would love to have him on the show to know how he knew all this stuff back then.
You know, I have no idea. And you know what? He wasn't vegan at the time, AJ. He wasn't, but he felt a certain way when he ate a certain way. And then when he shared the first meal with me, that on one of our first dates, he prepared a meal for me, and it was a vegan meal. When he shared that meal with me, I transitioned pretty much overnight. I was like, if I can eat and feel like this, then I don't want to eat the other way anymore. And so, yeah.
Speaking of eating, Renee says, are there any things you eat for sheer pleasure without regarding the nutrition?
Yes, I just now had myself some French fries with guacamole, some jalapeno peppers, some pico de gallo, and some follow your heart cheese sprinkled on top. That is play food, trust.
That's pleasurable eating. Yeah,
it's pleasurable eating, but I can't do a lot of that, and I don't desire to do a lot of that, because most of the time I start my day with juice and then smoothies and then a big giant beautiful raw plate, and then that raw plate I might have garlic, kale, and maybe I'll make me some chopped kale with a balsamic vinaigrette with blueberries on it, or I mean, just whatever I can put together. And I love some of the grains. Now I eat farro, or I'll eat what's the one that you can just soak and it puffs up for you? Not farro, but
quinoa, wild rice.
Well, it's so many. Of wild rice, I just put in the dehydrator and let it open because it's a grass. But there's another one that
buckwheat. Bulgur.
I love bulgur. Now, some people don't get into the grains and the wheat and all that, but it does me just fine. You know, I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, that's kind of the way. And I don't desire a whole bunch of food. I fill up quickly. because I don't sit down to massive, like I can't sit down to a soul food platter and stuff I eat. The other day I tried to order a burger and come home with it. We have burgers. I make the patties out of nuts and, mushrooms and stuff. And so I tried to have our burger. I couldn't eat that thing. It was just way too much. And it was, I can't. I just rather something light and chilled and crunchy, and I guess I'm just used to it now. You know what I mean? And all the heat and smothered, and like Thanksgiving, I can't do that. That's just like, I cook it for the restaurant, but all the gravies and the mashed potatoes and the stuffing and, ooh, no, it's way too much. I can't do it anymore. Isn't that weird?
I think it's just natural to require less food as we age.
I do too. I think that's true. I think because my husband is so smart right now, he doesn't desire a lot of food. But please make sure I have his juice in the morning. He loves fresh orange juice. He loves the green juice. I do kale every day, so of course I'm juicing kale a lot. But yeah, he doesn't eat a lot. He doesn't require a lot either. No.
Well, also, when you're eating in high nutrient foods, you just naturally require less. When you're eating processed food and animal products with no fiber, with no nutrients, you're always going to overeat because you're never going to be satiated. Yeah.
And the message to the brain, once you're feeding your cells, the message to the brain is that you're fed. But if you're just feeding nothing but death, you never get that message, and you're always hungry. So you're constantly piling crap in. Yeah.
Who's the typical person that comes into your restaurant these days?
AJ, to be perfectly honest with you, we got a lot of brand new people since COVID. We had to cut back days. We had to, we kind of had to survive like everybody else. And I give thanks that we're still open. There are so many restaurants that didn't make it, but we have so many brand new customers now, a lot of new customers. We have so many people that are transitioning. Even in our community, we're going through what is it when we got the brand new stadium? What's it called when it gets newed up? And
I know, it's something-fication.
Yeah, that is happening right now. And so, of course, I have a lot more Caucasian neighbors than I ever had before here in Inglewood. It is just completely changed. So we have a lot of brand new people that live in the neighborhood that come in to check us out, that are vegan, and they're happy to have a vegan restaurant in the neighborhood. And we're the vegan restaurant in the community that sells you real food. We still don't eat out of boxes.
Is the word gentrification that you're thinking of?
That's it.
Okay. I knew it ended in fication, but
yes, you're right.
So Terry says, what does Chef Babette do just for fun?
Okay, so what do I do just for fun? I can't tell you on screen, everybody.
Okay. Next question then. There's a question. Can you do the sit-rise test? Is that the one where you're sitting down and you get up without using your hands? Rebecca wants to know.
Girl, I could get down on the floor and get up. I can be on my knees and get up without using my hands. And my balance is off. I can take my shoe on and off and put it on and tie it without holding on. My balance is amazing. I make sure I keep that up. That's important as we age. But yeah, my trainer, Brian Clemens, when he was my trainer, there was no way that I could even put my hand on my knee when I wanted to get up. I had to use my strength to get myself up off the ground, period. So yeah, definitely.
It's amazing. Terry says, can you give us your juice recipe? And also, I'm curious, how much water do you drink?
You know what, now that's an area that I always have to be really, really conscientious about, the water. Water is so massively important, you guys. H2O. I don't care how much coconut water you drink. I don't care how much juice you drink. The human body needs H2O. And I can always do better ingesting more water. Now that's the honest to God truth. But in terms of one of my very favorite drinks, consists of cilantro, lemon or lime juice, lots of ginger, green apples. I am massively in love with that drink.
Well, God didn't make little green apples.
God didn't make little green apples. Well, guess what? I'm loving those little green apples in that drink.
I just said that because we both used to know the late great Dr. Reverend O.C. Smith, and that was his.
Yeah.
He was the best. If I could have anybody on my show, I would have him on. Maybe he's listening from the heavens. I adored
Didn't
that
you
man.
just love him?
I loved him so much.
I loved him so much too. Do you ever stay in touch with Robbie, his wife?
Well, she had that surgery, right? And
they jacked her up.
Yeah, I do stay in touch with her through Reverend Linda Logan, and I did send Robbie a get well card. But yeah, I hope she's improving.
But let me just tell you about Robbie. The beauty of the understanding that Robbie has is that Robbie is not the body. Robbie is the consciousness, and whether she's laying down or standing up, she's brilliant. Period.
Absolutely. So one of the viewers says, can you please open up a Stuff I Eat in Dallas or Frisco, Texas?
I guess I've been trying not to Ron keeps saying just hold it down, but we're working very, very hard on what we'd like to call a Stuff I Eat Express. Now, it may not have all the dishes that we serve, but we're really working on pulling together our franchise. And it would be a Stuff I Eat Express. So of course we'd be selling the things like the burgers, the tacos, the burritos, quesadillas, and stuff like that. The soul food platter will probably not be a part of that, but it would be, that's pretty much what our dream is and what we're working on right now.
Oh, the soul platter, that's what you made when you catered a Healthy Taste of LA, cornbread, greens,
yeah,
beans.
Exactly. Yeah, that one.
Now that's fabulous if you could be everywhere, like airports and malls.
I know, but even with just the fun fast food that the masses will grab and eat, you know what I'm saying? People, come on, who doesn't like Mexican food? Mexican food is such a popular food in our country, in our society. So that's why we chose tacos, burritos, quesadillas, fun food like that. People love that kind of food. And burgers, who does not like burgers? That is a United States, California thing. Burgers, you got to have burgers. So yeah,
absolutely.
That's where we're headed.
What remains the most popular item on your menu?
To be perfectly honest with you, the enchilada pie has always been at the top of the list. Okay, let's just do it this way. Soul food platter, enchilada pie, burgers. Those are the three top. I think those are the three top items. Yeah. Soul food platter, enchilada pie, and the burgers.
And the enchilada pie you made on Steve Harvey. How was that?
Yes.
Was he nice? Is he interested in healthy eating, Steve Harvey?
Well, I did some food prep for him a while ago. I don't know where he is right now. I have not been in communication with him, but he still looks like he's healthy and well. And thank goodness. I hope he is.
Absolutely. Well, I know you're not one to brag, but you received a pretty prestigious honor just a couple of days ago. Could you talk about it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, let me just say this to y'all. AJ, you've known me for a long time. You knew us when we got started. Mercy for Animals was one of the very first nonprofits that decided to come into Stuff I Eat and do an extensive video on us. And they pretty much put us on the map. The video went viral. It was like almost 10 million views. And we had, at that point, we wound up having lines out of the restaurant because of Mercy for Animals. And they decided that they were going to honor, now they said we're going to honor Chef Babette, but I feel like they honored Stuff I Eat. And they gave us the Community Change Maker Award. And it was a beautiful ceremony on Friday night. And one that I am just so grateful for. I am so appreciative, and I'm so grateful to Mercy for Animals for remembering us and just being who they've always been in terms of stuff I eat and our growth. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, congratulations. Well deserved.
And this weekend coming up, I got a part in this brand new food competition show called Peeled.
Oh yeah, tell us about that. I heard about that. Where can we watch it?
Yeah, so Be Kind on IG. They created this show, and they got in touch with me and asked me if I would be a host on the show. And it's very similar to a Chopped kind of show. And we're going to the premiere on this Saturday, I think. It was the 24th. And I'm very, very excited. Now, I haven't seen the finished part. We already shot it. So I don't know what it's like, but I'm very excited to be a part of that.
That's fantastic. Do you know what platform?
Bringing veganism to the forefront. It's beautiful. We have to, though, AJ. Look at what's happening to the planet, baby. We are having issues.
Do you happen to know what platform we can watch it on?
Well, I know that Jane Unchained. I know that
perfect.
You can. I don't know if they're going to do a live stream this weekend, but you can probably reach out and check it out and see. But yeah, Jane Unchained for sure.
Perfect. Rachel says, do you ever use wheatgrass juice?
Used to all the time, not as much anymore. I'm really into sea moss right now. I'm loving sea moss. So I'm adding sea moss to most of my drinks, my salad dressings. I try to get a little bit of sea moss. I ingest a little bit of sea moss every single day. And I used to be wheatgrass, barley grass, the whole 9 yards. But the person that sold wheatgrass in our community, he's no longer around. And we used to try to buy it, but sometimes the grass would get to us. It wasn't good grass. So I'm not using the wheatgrass as much as I used to, but I will still ingest it if I'm somewhere else. I believe in wheatgrass. It's awesome. And Thanks. So is barley.
You mentioned sea moss, and Apple says, do you have any prep or storage tips for sea moss?
Well, actually, I'm using the gelled, and it has a shelf life. Now, if I feel like when I get my supply in, if I feel like I'm not going to get to some fast enough, I will freeze it. But it does have a expiration date on it. So and the jars are small. So I try to get through my jar of sea moss as quickly as I possibly can without having to freeze it. AJ, I just want to know, what are you doing?
What do you mean? I'm drinking water
all over the place and drinking water, and just like, what is she searching for? Anyway.
Because it's funny that you mentioned water, and I too never drank enough water. And I found the solution was to, first of all, get a very beautiful bottle, but get a bigger one. Because when I was doing a small bottle, it was like one and done. But by making the bottle bigger, it's a lot easier to drink more water.
And then you have to finish it off.
Exactly.
Smart.
So
smart.
Exactly. You mentioned coconut oil as one of your beauty secrets. Is it more to moisturize, or because I hear it's a great makeup remover as well?
Girl, I just don't know. I just love the way I feel with coconut oil on. And you remember years ago, for some reason, we used petroleum jelly. And
oh my God, that stuff's like toxic, right?
It's horrible. And what I found was, you can put the coconut oil on you and you don't feel so weighted down and greasy. Now, I did used to overuse coconut oil. And when I first did, I had customers they were calling me greasy, shiny. That's what they were calling me.
You were sliding into the kitchen.
But I learned to calm it down a little bit. But yeah, I just fell in love with this stuff. I just still use it today. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the live viewers says, what is sea moss? Not everybody is familiar with it.
Well, sea moss, this is what I like to tell people, because I'm not, the lady that turned me on to the product that I use, she is a genius when it comes to sea moss. This is what I tell people to do. Young people taught me how to Google. I want you to Google, what is sea moss? And let them tell you exactly what sea moss is.
I know it's sometimes
But
used in raw desserts, isn't it? Like
yeah,
as a thickener?
yeah, I use sea moss now, like I said, in desserts, salad dressings, even in things like if you're making chili beans, you can use the bladderwrack or the green in something savory and hot. So yeah, I'm just on it right now. And somebody asked me, well, how quickly do you feel? I feel so good all the time. I don't know what sea moss is doing for me, but I do know that I'm feeling 100 most of the time, unless I have some kind of muscle tear. Like I tore a groin 4 months ago. Yeah, on the right side. That is not happy. And what I did when I was in Houston with Dr. Montgomery and all these athletes, I got out, I was feeling good. I got to the track and these young girls were out sprinting, and I used to sprint, and without stretching or anything, I got out there and took off. And AJ, on the way back, I was limping. I bruised it again. So I was already dealing with it for about 4 months, and then I messed it up again. So muscle issues, yeah, but anything else, I'm feeling pretty much 100. I don't take any medication. I don't even have a doctor. Ooh, Babette. I don't even have a doctor.
Wow. So you don't go for any kind of regular checkup or
I
anything?
don't, AJ, I don't, none of that. And if anybody ever takes my blood pressure or anything like that, they're like, wow, your pressure's perfect. Most everything is perfect, because I don't know how it could be anything other than that. I'm not really ingesting anything. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. So basically, living proof that if you loved it, it will love you back. Self-love, self-care.
It's so true. Do you still get up at 2:30 in the morning every day?
Girl, oh my God, but AJ, I will go to sleep at 6 o'clock in the evening. Yes, the other day I woke up at 1:30 because I had this event, the Mercy for Animals event, and we had to be there early. And I woke up at 1:30, got myself together. I was at work by 3, so I could leave and get my makeup done. And that I go to bed early, I wake up early. So what can I say? I got a lot to do to pack in before 6 o'clock in the evening, honey. I got to get that workout on, and I'm doing that 2 to 3 days a week. So, yeah, I get up early, but I go to sleep early.
I mean, I get up at 5:30, but 2:30, it's still dark.
But isn't that? And I just wake up. But come on, AJ, you know how our systems are. It's bathroom run. That's what wakes me up.
Yeah. You know, anytime I have a guest on Chef AJ Live, I allow them to choose the title of the broadcast. You said, love your age. How do people that don't maybe look or feel as good as you, how can we learn to love our age, Chef Babette?
And you know, I think I would like for us not to worry so much about looks. More than anything, you want to have a good quality. We're pretty superficial in our society. And we are. To me, I think we're over the top superficial, and we base health and everything on how somebody looks. We're going to look like we're going to look as we go through this journey called life. We live on a planet where there's gravity, so things are going to start moving around a little bit. We're going to look different. But I think the beauty in the different look, especially when you're caring for yourself, is that you get to see yourself look a different way throughout your life. You know what I'm saying? I don't look like I looked when I was 60, AJ. I see the subtle changes, but I'm okay with them. I don't look like I looked when I was 20. I don't want to look like I looked when I was 20. I'm okay. Right now, I got one side where my chin looks like my mother's chin. But I'm noticing that now as I get older. But guess what? I embrace it. I'm okay with it. I just want to feel good, AJ. I don't want to have to be on 15 different meds, AJ. I don't want to have to be hooked up to a machine to sleep at night or to be able to breathe or in any of that. I don't want anything breaking out in my skin because I've ingested something that's not good for me. So the self-love and the self-care, it's all about understanding how to nourish yourself and what you need to do to be able to continue caring for yourself physically. Now, when you have an accident, like what we're talking about with Robbie, that's something totally different. We're not talking about that. And even in that, consciously, you still have to be okay with the human you, whether you're moving or not. None of that really matters. So I just say, make sure that you know who you are as a species and what you should be ingesting. Don't let somebody tell you what to eat. You can learn that on your own. You can Google. You can Google it, kids. We Google everything.
That might be one of the greatest lines I've ever heard. Know who you are as a species.
Gosh. Yes, I do not have those canine teeth, and I can pick my food off of a tree and eat it right on the spot. Nobody has to kill it. Nobody has to clean it. Nobody has to cut it open. Nobody has to pump it up with water to make it look fat. Nobody has to feed it. Nobody has to do shit to it. Just let me pick it and eat it.
You're amazing. You know, you mentioned at the beginning of the show that a lot of your family members are now gone or they had diseases. Have you been able to inspire anyone in your family, though, to take the path that you've taken?
I have a stepson. I'm so proud of him. He's a really, really sharp kid. He got it because he used to love cheese was the last thing for him to let go. And he wound up in the hospital. The cheese just didn't do him right. And he's been vegan now for probably about 15 years. Now that one, now my daughter, she had all the info, but she did not believe fat meat was greasy. So she had to go through it. And now in her 50s, she suffered with some of the illnesses all of us suffer with when we eat that way. But guess what? Now she's sharp. Now she's working for a vegan food company. Now she's getting rid of her diabetic numbers are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And she understands I can't eat that and I can't eat that. But it took her all those years to come around. But sometimes it's part of our journey. Sometimes you have to learn it that way, AJ, to be able then to share the information that you've learned with whomever you come in contact with, or just the rest of your family. I mean, we eat out of boxes. I had my granddaughter living here. She had a box of those Cheez-Its on my refrigerator. When I read the ingredients, no, let me tell you right quick what I did. I went into the supermarket one morning with my iPhone and I'm going through the produce section going, yeah, this is food, y'all, showing them all the fruits, vegetables. This is food. But let me show you what we eat. I went over to the boxes with the Cheez-Its, and then I went to the ingredients, and in the ingredients it tells you in that it's all bioengineered food. It's fake. It's food-like substances. That stuff was on my refrigerator, and my daughter had given my great-granddaughter, who is not even 2 yet, some of those crackers. Ignorance. That's what, listen, people. Don't stay ignorant. Educate yourself, because knowledge is power, period. I guess I said enough.
And I think the earlier our species ingests these addictive foods, the harder it is to break.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway.
Absolutely. One of the live viewers says, is there a particular brand of coconut oil you recommend or prefer?
I just like coconut oil. Now you can even go to Kirkland. Kirkland's has some good coconut oil. You can get it from Costco, and it ain't gonna cost you an arm and a leg. And it comes in a big old giant package, and we use it at the restaurant. I put Kirkland. I put that on my skin. If it's coconut oil, I'll put it on my skin. Okay. All right.
Yep. Where did you develop this mindset? Because part of your beauty, your charm, and I think even your longevity is what you're talking about, the mental aspect. Is this something you cultivated, or were you just born this way?
No, sweetheart. I mean, I was one ignorant little girl when I was coming up. Very, very, very ignorant to all of this stuff. But I think once I began to accrue the knowledge and I started living the lifestyle, then I said, okay, I can actually go out and teach this because it's real. Nobody's telling me about this. I'm living this. So I can share me with you. And that is what I've chosen to do. My personality, I was shy as a little girl, but I'm so much like my mother. My mother never met a stranger. My mother, people loved her wherever she went. And so I have that. I love life, and I love life. Let me just wrap it up like that. Yeah. And I love sharing. I don't want people to feel like I felt when I ate. If I can help somebody avoid that, please let me. Because I felt miserable.
Well, speaking of sharing, people are wondering where's the best place to get more of you. Like, do you prefer social media places for them to follow you?
Well, follow me on. Hey, you know what? Yeah, follow me on IG, Chef Babette Davis. I've been trying to get to over 200,000 followers for a really long time. If it's enough of y'all watching me today, can you help me get? I'm at 189. Can you help me a little bit get to over 200,000? But I am on. I'm on TikTok, and I don't understand TikTok. At 72 years old, no, I really do not understand TikTok. I was trying to post everything on TikTok that I post on IG, and TikTok slapped my hand and said, "You can't be selling stuff on TikTok. What are you doing? You're gonna get in trouble if you keep trying to do this." So I'm just scared of TikTok. But you can follow me on TikTok and Facebook. You know what? Facebook, mega. I got hacked. I had over 200,000 followers, and the hackers blocked me out and started posting all kind of weird stuff. And now Meta gave me back the page. However, they won't publish it because they're blaming me for what the hackers posted.
I've heard of things like that, even with Instagram. It's so unfortunate. I'm sorry, but I will put in the show notes your Instagram link and see if we can get everybody to follow you there. So
follow me on IG, y'all, please. That would be great. If I can go up to 200, I'd be dancing.
Nice. Is there a page also for the restaurant on Instagram? Stuff I eat?
There's Stuff I Eat. Stuff I Eat has a page as well. Yeah. But
nice.
Yeah. Anyway. AJ, I love you, sweetie. This was so nice.
It's just so nice to just have a little chat with you and see what you've been up to, and wish you every success with your awards, with your restaurant. I mean, that would be amazing if you have Stuff I Eat everywhere.
I know. It's going to be amazing. We're just going to claim it. We're going to claim it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So just leave the viewers with just your 3 best practices, best tips to looking well, feeling well as they age. Maybe you should even write a book about that.
Maybe one day, sweetheart. And I guess basically what I would like to say to everybody is, if I don't have to keep myself from crying. Basically, I would like for us as a species to understand our connection and understand that life, we're one in this. We're all connected. We were all created by that intelligence, one intelligence, and we're mere expressions of it. That's all we are, expressions of that which created all of life. Therefore, if I don't love me, I can't love you. Learn to love you. Learn to love yourself. And then it becomes so much easier to love the whole. And that's all we got, y'all. That's it. because we're in trouble right now because there's so much division. And we don't know how to understand that the oneness created all of us, so it's all good. It doesn't matter about complexions. It doesn't matter about whether you were born with horns. It doesn't matter about any of that. We're expressions of the love that created all of us. And that is what we need to do right now to save our home.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Chef Babette.
You love. I love you.
I love you too. And I love all of you for tuning in and watching Chef AJ Live during Longevity Week. Please come back tomorrow when I have another fabulous chef who has defied aging. You might know her, Babette, Karen Calabrese.
Yes, I love her.
Yeah.
Yes, she's been a gift to the planet. I love her. I'm so glad you're having her on. That's great. I'm tuning in tomorrow. I love her. She taught me a lot too.
Great. Thanks so much, Babette. It was so great
Love
catching
you,
up.